What's going on, guys? Hey, all this stuff that's going on right now with my channel just slowly growing. If you guys do, in fact, just jump on and get a chance to kill a couple minutes out of your day and check out a couple of the videos, get yourself a couple laughs and a little bit of the shorts here and there, whether it is on Facebook, on YouTube, on TikTok, even on IG. I appreciate you. We appreciate you. Send a like, hit that subscribe button if you want to see more. But shout out to Steel City and my Steel City Keystone hat and a little bit of my Steel City hoodie. And I'm a hoodie freak. I do love them. Thank you, Steel City. God bless you. You want to check this stuff out, steelcity.com. They don't have to pay me for this one. I love their gear. Hey, if you're a Pittsburgh guy, you're a Pittsburgh girl, check that out. Anyway, but this video is in fact for you, the Pittsburgh people, because as much as I am a diehard Penguins fan, not even sure how the season's going to be, but who knows yet. And I also know how the Steelers are, how you Steeler Nation, you crazy people are thinking the Steelers are still going to do some crazy things if they get rid of Matt Canada. And then you got the Pirates, those lovable guys that are getting better and better and better, even though they have the most arguably one of the worst owners in baseball. I kind of put that guy in Oakland too, probably. Anyway, this thing is for you because I have a lot of discussions in my last 10, 15, 20 years of being in my old profession, which I'll talk about someday down the road, but also with Pittsburgh fans and Pittsburgh people in general. They do believe deep down in their heart of hearts that they can, in fact, though they have 3 of the big 5 sports organizations in North America, they still believe deep down they can support an NBA franchise. If they did, I would support them. No doubt about it. It would be awesome to have Pittsburgh back Pittsburgh even in the NBA period. It would be freaking awesome. I have some thoughts about that I just can't buy. It's story time with JJ. Yeah, and we're clear. So, story time. And it's a good discussion to have. You stay here, buddy. You're doing really good. You ever want your own Funko? Check that other video that I had out. You can get and create your own. Anyway, story time. Exactly. Why in the world would Pittsburgh still believe deep down in their heart of hearts that they still can, to this very day, that they can still hold and have hopes of getting an NBA franchise in Pittsburgh? It's tough, and especially in this day and age, it's very tough. And to a point also, do you really need it? You have to look at the big picture and be looking at a wide angle view on this. There are many people that can sit in a Permani's pub and just be like, hell yeah, we can support an NBA too. We've got everything. We've got the arena. We've got the fans. We've got the best fans in the world. You have one of the best fan bases in the world, period, in the city of Pittsburgh. You've got the Steeler Nation. You can find people and Steeler fans waving their towels at all points of the globe. There could be a terrible towel on the moon for all we know. Anyway, that's one thing. The Penguins fans are all over the place because they know that Pittsburgh is a hockey city. They're the last team in Pittsburgh to have a championship and the most successful these days. And then you got the Pirates. God love them. They're getting slowly better every year, but we keep saying that every year. And if it wasn't for that little run that we had, Bob Nutting, you can have that again if you know how to run a franchise. But I digress. There's so much you can think of bringing NBA back into fruition. First off, you got $2.5 billion in your bank account, you can have an expansion fee. That's the rumor that's going around, that if you want an expansion team, you have to call Adam Silver up, the commissioner, and say, yeah, I've got a big fat check for $2.5 billion. Can we put our name in the hat to have expansion in the next 5 years? I have it right here. Give us a call. Click. It's kind of hard. And plus, there's the rumor which I'll get into later with the NBA, because I don't really like talking about the NBA because I'm not a basketball guy. I'm only 5'8". I played hockey and soccer most of my life. I'm not a basketball guy, but I'm a LeBron fan. And there's not really much fan bases around here. You take pretty much the big bulk of fan bases all over. Like, I'm a LeBron fan. He's a Laker. I'm not a Laker guy, but I'm a LeBron fan. I root for LeBron. Don't matter if it's the Lakers now at my age. Plus, around this area, you have 2 places, maybe even 3, to go to find something local. It's either Philly, it's either Cleveland, or very possibly New York or Brooklyn, or throw Brooklyn in there. There's not a whole heck of a lot of balance there as far as finding a local team. There isn't. So you take what's available. Even Washington's another one. I forgot about them because I know a couple people who will make that drive all the way down just to see a crappy team. And I know they're going to be a little crap, but Bradley Beal's no longer there. But the city of Pittsburgh could dwell and sit there and just have the best conversations in a bar, in a hole-in-the-wall bar, or in a club, and just sit there and think, we can hold our own in the NBA. In this day and age, it's very hard. But there is history. In 1967 and 68, they had a team called the Pipers. They won an ABA title. And then they moved to Minneapolis. They came back in 1971. They renamed the team the Condors. Boom. That's what the Condors are. That's what it is. That's what it is. And this right here is a very fashionable logo. It's a very big logo and a very big, very popular throwback for throwback collectors as far as hats, a jersey, what the big fads were as far as throwback jerseys were over 10, 15, 20 years ago. There's some people that still do that. Anyway, there's not much as far as history is concerned. There was the Pipers that moved and they came back and they renamed the Condors. They only lasted 2 years. There was the Iron Men that was back in 1948. They did have that point where they were a part of the NBA history books. They didn't last long and they weren't the best team. In fact, they were the worst. There is also, go into Hollywood. In 1979, there was a movie called The Fish That Saved Pittsburgh. It starred Julius Erving, Dr. J, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, the late Meadowlark Lemon from the Harlem Globetrotters. Yes, that movie. That is the name of the movie. Google it. Anyway, those right there are the only pieces of history of basketball, of professional basketball in Pittsburgh. And now, fast forward, Pittsburgh has had nothing to do with NBA. And since during that time from 79 out or whatever in the 70s and late 60s, the city of Pittsburgh doesn't need NBA. And I think hardcore Pittsburgh people living in the city, old or new, they're going to probably agree with that. But there are that select that can still sit there and say, you know what? I'd love to see a team in Pittsburgh. Because we don't have to drive all the way out to Cleveland. We don't have to drive up to Toronto. We don't have to drive to Washington. We don't have to go to New York and Brooklyn. We've got it right here. You got $2.5 billion in your bank account? Give Adam a call. Besides that, in a way of speaking, Pittsburgh would be cool to have. The problem is, there's another problem. There are so many more options before Pittsburgh's name is being thrown at. Examples. Here's the latest news. Seattle and Vegas are already putting in pencil as the next 2 expansion teams coming in 2025. Seattle just renovated Key Arena. It's now Climate Pledge Arena where the Kraken of the NHL play. Vegas just won the Stanley Cup. They're rumored they're going to build another arena on the Strip. Vegas is already up there, and they already have a WNBA team. They're rumored they're going to get the A's. They just got the Raiders. It's filing in. Poor Oakland. I feel bad for them. There are so many other cities that professional people, bookers, sports historians will tell you to your face. I would pick 3, 4, maybe even 5 cities to have an expansion team in Pittsburgh, to have an expansion team before even Pittsburgh's name's even brought up. I would throw St. Louis. I would throw Kansas City. You could even, since Toronto's already up there, bring Vancouver back. Since you already have North America, there's down in Mexico, Mexico's part of North America. Put Mexico City in there. But then you have a handful of others that you put your name in. Put Louisville. Put Cincinnati. Put Orlando. Oh, yeah, that's right. Orlando's awful. We keep forgetting about that. Put Tampa. There's about 8 cities that I just threw at you that have probably more of a chance to get NBA franchises than Pittsburgh would. Seriously. You could even throw Buffalo. You can throw... it's just going... So there's people that still wonder why New Orleans has a team. New Orleans don't have anything else. They just have the Saints. They don't have baseball. They don't have... I'm surprised basketball's even a part of it. Anyway, there's so much more, like, as far as the economics. It's, can you support the team? Can you support the fans? Can you hold on? Can you bring in revenue? There's no question Pittsburgh could do that. There's about, again, like I said, 5, 6, 7, 8 cities that you can immediately put in line before Pittsburgh's name's even brought up. I mean, even Louisville, a small market, they have an updated brand new arena where the Louisville Cardinals, University of Louisville play. They would be before Pittsburgh. But as far as that, would I support Pittsburgh? Absolutely. If the NBA would go to 36 teams, I'm going to be honest, I don't think I see Pittsburgh getting it. There's got to be some rich person, and I don't mean Mark Cuban or Dan Marino or even Pat McAfee, to get a bunch of buyers, to get a bunch of trustees, put them all together and say, hey, we're going to put a $2.5 billion expansion fee in, and say, hey, there's a briefcase, $2.5 million. We're going to put our bid in for the city of Pittsburgh to have the NBA. That could be any city that doesn't have a sports franchise in an organization. Like the city of Pittsburgh, I love them. I just don't think it's possible. If it happens, I'm all for it. Sign me up. But there are 3 things going in the city of Pittsburgh right now. And it's the Steelers, the Penguins, and the Pirates. Pitt's doing fine. The soccer team is actually doing really well. And I would also very much hope I do a video of this someday. Riverhounds to the MLS, make it happen. They're actually really good. They're really good. Actually, the Pirates are actually not that bad. They're not going to make the playoffs, but they're better than they were before. They just have the worst owner in the league. The NBA in Pittsburgh, I'm not necessarily going to put all my stock into it because there's a lot of people in Pittsburgh that just don't think they need the NBA. There's a lot of cities that would love to have certain things, but there's a lot of cities that will sit there and say they don't need it. Pittsburgh is not Los Angeles or New York or Chicago or Dallas. There's a lot of things to do. They don't need NBA. But if it happens, trust me, I'm all for it. If they ever make a Pittsburgh Ironman jersey, or Pittsburgh had arena football twice. They had a major lacrosse team. Twice. They had roller hockey. We can have NBA. How much do you want to see Pittsburgh try their darndest to bring the NBA to the Steel City? Give me your comments. I know there's people that would so much want to put their 2 cents in, but this is for the Pittsburgh people. Do you really want to see Pittsburgh get an NBA city become an NBA city in the next 5 years? Possibly. You got an arena. Can you inherit or even bring in a fan base to be part of something great? You've got 3 things going for you right now, and they're all actually 4 if you count the soccer team. Guys, if you'd like to see Pittsburgh come back, what would you like them to see? What would you like them to be? Would you like them to bring the Iron Men back? Would you like them to bring the Condors back? I'm not a fan of the Pipers. But then again, Pittsburgh people have their own way of thinking. And I just happen to be a Penguins guy that will support a Pittsburgh franchise in the NBA. I just don't see it happening. But if it does, take my money. Like and subscribe if you like this video. You got your 2 cents. I would love to hear from you. There's no right or wrong answer. I just have my way of thinking about it. It'd be pretty darn cool what happened. I just don't know if it's needed. If it's needed in the city of Pittsburgh. I'd love to hear what you have to say. Thank you again for hanging out and having a little story time with JJ. Until then, the bar is closed, and I hope I see each and every one of you legends down the road. And go Pittsburgh. Whatever.